Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. In today's video, we are going to discuss about UPSC previous year questions of geography. We are going to start with prelims 2013 and then we'll go further till 2023, that is the last prelims. So let us try to understand what are the questions that have been asked earlier in year 2013 prelims examination. Now as you can see, this is kind of match of the following questions. Then we have Dongariya tribe that are in the state of Odisha, Bonda tribe that is in Tamil Nadu. So basically we have to understand that whether these tribes are residing in these states or not and whether they are correctly matched or not. So if you look at here, Limbu tribe in the state of Sikkim, now that is the correct option basically. As we can see from here, Limbu tribe resides in the state of Sikkim. These are one of the most notable northeastern tribe of India. Second, you talk about Karbi tribe. Now, Karbi, we also know that it is a region in the northeastern part of India lying adjacent to the state of Meghalaya. However, in question, the answer is given Himachal Pradesh. So, that is obviously incorrect. That means second option is incorrect. Dongriya tribe, again a well-known tribe. Especially they came into news because they have basically fought against the usurpation of their land for the industrial activity, especially when a South Korean steel plant was trying to establish its company there. So, Dongriya tribes are found obviously in the state of Odisha. In Odisha, you have two hills, Niyamgiri Hills and Nilyamgiri Hills, and these are the major areas where these tribes are located. Last is Bonda tribe in Tamil Nadu. That is again an incorrect option because Bonda tribes are found in the eastern states such as Odisha and Chhattisgarh. So, the correct option obviously here it will be A, that is 1 and 3 only. Now, if you look at the next question, it is again a match the following kind of questions where on one side the national parks, the important national parks of India is given, and on the other side you have been asked that whether the given rivers are flowing through these national parks or not. So, the first is Corbett National Park, which is also called as Jim Corbett National Park, and coincidentally it is also the first national park of India. That is something you have to keep in mind as well. Jim Corbett was basically an English hunter who later became a wildlife conservationist, and to honor him the park was named as Jim Corbett National Park. Now Jim Corbett National Park, Ganga river is flowing through that. So this is again an incorrect option because Jim Corbett National Park, it is situated in the state of Uttarakhand. However, the river Ganga does not flow directly along this park or through this park. It is a tributary of river Ganga that we call as river Ram Ganga that flows through the Jim Corbett National Park. So, first is obviously incorrect. Second, Kaziranga. Now, Kaziranga we know it is one of the most notable wildlife sanctuary as well as national park in the northeastern part of India, and they have given that Manas river flows through this park. Now, that is incorrect because Kaziranga National Park, if you talk about state, it is situated in the state of Assam. However, it is situated in the eastern part of Assam, and the river Brahmaputra is the one that is flowing through the Kaziranga National Park, and thus second option is also incorrect only. Third is Silent Valley National Park, one of the most notable national park of South India, and more precisely this national park is situated in the state of Kerala. Now obviously, since the Silent Valley National Park is situated in the state of Kerala, Kaveri river we know it does not flow through Kerala state, it flows through Karnataka and then further Tamil Nadu. That means this option also by elimination we can say this will not be a correct answer. Even if you do not know about which river flows through Silent Valley, by knowing this fact that it is located in Kerala, you can easily eliminate the option of river Kaveri, because in river systems you have to read the Kaveri is flowing through which of the states of India. So this is also incorrect. That means what is the correct option? D, that is none of the given pairs are correctly matched with each other. If you try to look into more details, so as we have discussed, Corbett National Park, it is Gram Ganga is passing through it, Kaziranga National Park, Brahmaputra river passing through it, and Silent Valley National Park, additionally you can remember it is the Kunti Puha river in the Kerala that flows through or passes through the Silent Valley National Park. The third question is again a kind of match of the following or pair based question is there, where again you have three different geographical areas are given and three different ranges are given, and you have to find out that whether these regions are lying or located in these hills or not. Here the question is asked about Nokrek Biosphere Reserve, whether these biosphere reserve is situated in Garo Hills. Then second is Loktak Lake in Barail range, and third is Namdapha National Park in the Dafla Hills. Now, if you look at here Nokrek Biosphere Reserve, so this is actually situated in the Garo Hills. Nokrek actually is also the highest peak of the Garo Hills. And if you look at the geography of Meghalaya, Meghalaya is made up of three major hills. First is Garo Hills, that is on the western part of Meghalaya. Then we have the Khasi Hills, that is in the central part of Meghalaya. And then we have the Jayantiya Hills, that is the easternmost part of the Meghalaya. So, Garo, Khasi, Jayantiya. Now, in Khasi Jayantiya range, which is considered as a continuous range, here Shillong is the highest peak, which is also the highest peak of the entire state of Meghalaya. However, if you talk about the Garo Hills, here Nokrek is highest peak, and also in around this peak you have the biosphere reserve that has been developed here. So, the first option is obviously correct. Second is Loktak Lake in the Barail range. Now, this option is incorrect because state wise if you look, Loktak Lake is part of state of Manipur, and Barail range, we know the Barail range is the range that connects your Naga Hills to the this Meghalaya plateau region, and that is why Manipur is situated to the south of the Barail range, and that is why this option is incorrect. Also, you have to understand that Loktak Lake, based on this again in 1-2 years later question has been asked about Loktak Lake, and Loktak Lake is known for the fumdis. Fumdis are basically the term that is used for the large sized floating vegetation, and that is something that grows in the fumdis, and it is on these fumdis you have a species of deer that basically moves around, and since these are floating vegetation, the deers are not able to rest at one place for a long period of time. That is why they have to keep continuously moving from one direction to other direction, and due to the continuous movement, the deers are also many times referred as dancing deers, or more precisely they are named locally, they are called as Sangai deer. So, Sangai deer is one of the most notable species, animal species that you will find in the Loktak Lake region. However, it is not part of Barail range, it is situated in the Manipuri Hills. Third is Namdapha National Park in the Dafla Hills. Now, Namdapha National Park is a very important national park situated in the state of Arunachal Pradesh. And if we try to draw the map of Northeast India, something like this we can draw. So, Dafla Hill, Dafla, Miri, Abor and Mismi, these are four hills which are part of the Shivalik range or outer range of Himalaya. On the other hand, Namdapha National Park is situated somewhere in this region, that is in the more upper region, and basically these are part of the eastern or Purvanchal Himalayas, and Namdapha is situated in the Patkai Bum range of the northeastern India. So, correct answer is Patkai Bum, not Dafla Hill. Thus, what we can say, second and third both options are incorrect, only the first option given here are correctly matched, the first pair is actually correctly matched. So, correct option obviously will be A, that is only 1. That is the fourth question. Moving forward, if you look at the next question has been asked about the soil, very important topic from prelims perspective that you have to study in the geography. So, total we know that India, we find 8 major types of soil, and out of these 8 major types of soil, 4 soils are considered as minor soil group and 4 soils are considered as the major soil group. And laterite soil comes under one of the major soil group of India, along with alluvial soil, black soil, red soil. So, the characteristics of these soils are given, and you have been asked to choose the correct option or the correct characteristics here. So, first is they are generally red in color. So, this is obviously correct. The reason is because laterite soil are found in those areas where you are having heavy rainfall, and due to heavy rainfall, what happens? All the nutrients or minerals that is present in the upper layer of soil are gradually percolating in the downward direction along with the rainwater after they dissolve in it. This process is something that we refer as leaching. So due to extensive leaching that happens in the laterite soil, what happens is the iron oxide and aluminum oxide as well as their hydroxide, their concentration increases in the upper layer, or also we can say they are found in abundant quantity in the upper layer. And aluminum hydroxide, iron hydroxide, they give reddish color to the laterite soil, and that is why they are generally red in color. So first is obviously correct. Second is they are rich in nitrogen and potash. Now this option is incorrect because nutrient wise there is nothing much in the laterite soil, and that is why it is also considered largely as an infertile soil. It is very difficult to grow any kind of crop there unless and until you apply fertilizer by yourself, artificial fertilizer, synthetic fertilizer, and also this irrigation water. So nitrogen potash is very much lacking in laterite soil. That is incorrect option. Third is they are well developed in Rajasthan and Uttar Pradesh. Now this option is also incorrect because laterite soils are largely found on the western slope of Western Ghat. In Rajasthan you will find desert soil, and in Uttar Pradesh the entire area is largely made up of alluvial soil, one of the largest soil group of India. So this is also incorrect option. So basically fourth option is about the crops. What kind of crops are grown in the laterite soil? So tapioca and cashew nut. This is indeed a correct option because tapioca and cashew nut can easily grow in the laterite soil. Thus the correct option will be the second and third option is incorrect. The first and fourth options are correct. So if you look at the option here, it should be C, that is 1 and 4 only. If you read slightly more about the laterite soil, on this map you can see the distribution of the laterite soil. As we can see from here, the largest concentration of laterite soil you see on the western slope of Western Ghat. The reason is because this slope receives very heavy amount of rainfall due to orographic effect. Basically during the monsoon time, when the southwesterly monsoon winds are coming like this, and here we know that we have the Western Ghat. So Western Ghats are lying like this. Now when the winds rises along the western slope of Western Ghat, the moisture that the wind contains gradually start to condense because the temperature drops as you go high up. This condensation creates a dense cloud formation, and this dense cloud then causes heavy rainfall on the western slope of Western Ghat. On the other hand, once the wind crosses this mountain, it has mostly lost all of its moisture, and that is why this side did not have any kind of rainfall. It becomes kind of arid desert kind of area. That is why you can see the largest concentration you will find in this particular region here. Then apart from that, here and there a small concentration of the laterite soil you will find in the northeastern part of India as well. As far as the crop grown in the laterite soil are concerned, these are the major crops such as tea, coffee, rubber, coconut, areca nut, and also valuable building materials are provided with laterite soil because the bricks that you can manufacture from laterite soil, they are actually very hard resistant kind of bricks because they do not go any further erosion, and that is why it is very precise valuable building materials. So basically laterite soil, in other way what we can say, is well known for plantation kind of crop, plantation crop that it's about. Also as you can see from the picture here, this is laterite soil, and in the first option it was given the soil is red in color, so that obviously is correct as you can see from the image given here also. Next question is again related to agriculture, where the question is asked that contour bunding is a method of soil conservation which is used in which kind of areas we use the contour bunding as a method of soil conservation. The first is desert margins where we have very strong wind, low flat plains close to stream courses, that means river courses, river banks, that is liable to flooding, scrub lands, that is liable to spread of weed growth, and last none of the above, that is it is used in some different kind of area. So here actually the correct option is none of the above. Contour bunding is a method of soil conservation that we used in the hilly terrain. In hilly terrain what happens, because of the slope on the hills, whenever the movement of wind and water happens, it will cause the entire upper layer, top layer of the soil, which is very fertile in nature, to be washed off toward the valleys. So to prevent from this to happening, especially if you want to cultivate something on the hill slope, you have to make sure that the wind and water does not erode the soil or move the soil from the hill slopes. So that is why contour bunding looks something like this, where you have the terraces is there, that is basically formed in the hills, and these terraces are bound, as you can see from here, are bound by a raised level of soils here. So, you have first terrace, second terrace, third terrace, and here you can see easily you can cultivate many crops, especially if we talk about the northeastern part of India, the hilly part of India where contour bunding is done, the rice or paddy cultivation is the most major kind of crop that is grown here. So, you can see from the image here also that these are the paddy plants that has been cultivated, and this method of conservation of soil is something that we call as the contour bunding. So, that is why the correct option is none of the above. However, if in the option it was given hilly region, then obviously this would have been the correct option. Desert margins, again here largely afforestation is considered as best natural mechanism against any kind of soil erosion. Low flat plains, that is near the river banks, construction of embankments, construction of dams and all these things can protect the soils. If we talk about the scrublands where weed growth is happening, obviously you have to use either integrated nutrient management, integrated pesticide management, or you have to use artificial synthetic weedicide to weed out all these crops, weed out all these weeds here. That is the option. Now again, next question is related to the crops, agriculture sector, where 4 crops are given, and the question has been asked that which of these are kharif crop. Now we know that in India the cropping season are classified into 3 categories. First, Rabi crop, second is kharif crop, and third is called as Zaid cropping season. So, Rabi crops are such crops which are sown during winters. That means if it is being sown during winter, it will be harvested during summer. Kharif crops are such crops which are sown during summer. So, if they are being sown during summer, it means they will be harvested during the winter season. And Zaid crop is in between them. These are between the summer season and winter season. Seasonal crops are there, especially if you talk about crops such as cucumber, you have watermelon. So, these are some notable example of Zaid crops. So, the question is asking that which of the given crops are or can be considered as the kharif crop. So, correct answer here will be cotton is obviously a kharif crop. Groundnut is something that we can consider as a kharif crop as well. Rice is example of kharif crop as well, and wheat is example of rabi crop, because wheat is sown during the winter season and is harvested during the summer season. So, that is why except wheat, all the above options are example of the kharif crop. So, correct option will be C, 1, 2 and 3 only. Apart from wheat, if we try to give some other examples of rabi crops, it will be, for example, black gram we talk about, that is also example of rabi crop. Apart from that, you have the mustard is there, oil seeds are there. So, these are example of some of the major rabi crops of India. Kharif crops are rice, groundnut and cotton, as we have discussed. Next question is related to your physical geography, especially climatology, where a question has been asked about an important climatic phenomena, weather phenomena that we know as thunderstorm. So, during a thunderstorm, the thunder in the skies is produced by what? 3 options are given: meeting of cumulonimbus clouds in the sky, lightning that separates the nimbus clouds, and third, violent upward movement of air and water particles. Now, the options that is given here are A, 1 only, 2 and 3 only, that is B, 1 and 3 only C, and D, that is none. So, let us be free try to understand what is thunderstorm, then we will try to find out that what can be the correct option here. Now, we know that thunderstorm is a phenomena where you have violent convection that is going on. Violent convection means we have a rapid rise of air that happens, and due to this rapid rise of air, a large amount of water vapor is pushed in the upward part of atmosphere. Now, as this water vapor goes in the upper part of atmosphere, what basically happens is condensation, because the temperature becomes low here, and this condensation creates the formation of clouds. So, due to this cloud formation, what happens many times, if the amount of water vapor is very high in the atmosphere, the thickness of the clouds can be very thick. That means we can say the towering kind of clouds, very tall towering clouds will develop here. These towering tall clouds that develop are the one which are called as cumulonimbus clouds. So cumulonimbus cloud is a cloud that can be as tall as 6 to 8 kilometers height. So that is how we have formation of clouds, and from this clouds what happens basically, because continuously the air is moving in the upward direction, and due to the movement of this air in upward direction, the water droplets first of all condenses into liquid form, and then many times it also freezes and becomes ice particle when temperature goes below 0 degrees Celsius. Now when these ice particles are continuously moving up and down in these clouds, they start rubbing against each other, and when these two ice particles rub against each other, they acquire opposite charges. As you might have seen in the case of a normal experiment, that if you have a pen, if you rub the pen in your hair and try to pick up a small piece of paper, the small piece of paper gets attracted to this pen. Now why it happens? Because both due to rubbing, the pen and paper acquires negative opposite charges. Same thing happens here also. Due to this, as both different types of water droplets and ice particle acquire two opposite charges, the positive charges gets accumulated in the upper part of cloud, and negative charges gets accumulated in the lower part of the cloud. Now due to this region, what happens? A kind of potential difference that you might have studied in the electricity chapter in the science subject. Potential difference is created due to charge separation. That is the same principle how batteries work. If you use the battery, you might have seen on one side you have the positive charge, on other side you have negative charge, and when you connect both the positive and negative charges, what you get is a flow of electrons that produces electricity. Now here the charge separation and potential difference is so extreme that here also a electric discharge takes place. This electric discharge that occurs within the clouds are what we call as lightning. So that is how lightning occurs. Now once this lightning strike occurs within the cloud, what happens? The temperature increases around the lightning area by thousands and thousands of degrees of Celsius. The temperature of the nearby region can rise as much as 10,000 to 30,000 degrees Celsius. So due to the sudden heating of the air that happens around the area where lightning strike has happened, causes a sudden rapid expansion of the air molecule, because due to high temperature air suddenly expands after getting the heat, and this sudden expansion that happens in the cloud is what we hear in the form of thunder. That is why the correct option here is D, that is none. None of these are responsible for creating thunder. These are phenomena that can be responsible for creation of lightning, like violent upward movement of air and water particles. These create or lead to formation of cumulonimbus cloud. In charge separation that happens in cumulonimbus cloud due to meeting of cumulonimbus cloud particles is what creates lightning. And lightning is that separates the nimbus cloud. That is not the correct answer. Lightning causes sudden rapid expansion of the air around it. This sudden rapid expansion of air is what produces lightning here. So that is the correct option. Next is about mineral deposits in India. The question is asked, consider the following statements, where we have discussed about natural gas. So natural gas occurs in the Gondwana belt, correct or incorrect? Second is mica, very important minerals, occurs in abundance in Kottapalya. Now Kottapalya, if you do not know, is a small city that is situated in the state of Jharkhand in the eastern part of India. And Dharwar are famous for petroleum. Now Dharwar is one of the proto peninsula which make up your entire Indian peninsula apart from Aravallis, and then in the eastern part you have the Chota Nagpur region. So Dharwar basically is currently situated in the state of Karnataka. It is famous for petroleum. So which of the given statement are correct? So obviously we know that as far as the Gondwana region is concerned, natural gas, does it occur here? The answer is incorrect. Gondwana belts are known for their coal deposits in India. The entire belt of Chota Nagpur plateau that is spread over 4 states, Jharkhand, then you have Odisha, then you have Chhattisgarh, then you have West Bengal, that is your Gondwana belt. And Gondwana belts basically, in the Gondwana was a time period. During that time period, the eastern part of India has underwent submergence, and due to the submergence, the large amount of natural vegetation basically went below the sea. Due to this, the large amount of pressure was applied to them, and under this pressure the vegetation then converted into coal, and later on when re-emergence of these land masses happened, today we find large volume of coal deposit there. That means the first option obviously is the incorrect one. Second is mica occurs in abundance in Koderma. That is correct. Jharkhand is one of the leading producer of mica in the India. Now mica is very important mineral because it acts as an insulator. If you pass electricity through mica, it will not be able to pass through, and that is why the main use of mica which we do today in India is in the insulating material, especially if you have seen power lines and this electric poles are there. So when the power lines are passing through electric poles, especially high voltage line you talk about, the insulating material, a disc shaped material, grey kind of material that you might have seen about, that grey shaped disc like material is what is mica. So they are obviously found in Koderma. Dharwars, obviously we do not have any petroleum deposit in Dharwar. In India, petroleum deposits occur in two places. One is in the Assam, that is Digboi and Naharkatia oil fields are there, and second, recently we have discovered oil fields also in the Krishna Godavari basin, that is on the Krishna Godavari continental shelf on the eastern part of India. Apart from that, natural gas you will find in the Bombay high region, that is off the coast of Mumbai as well. So Dharwars are known for iron ore deposits, not for the petroleum deposits. That means the second option is the only correct option, and the correct option here in that case will be B, that is 2 only. If you read about this in more details to understand the mineral wealth, how it is distributed within India, we can see from here this belt that we are seeing here, that is Chota Nagpur belt. There we have iron, there we have copper, there we have coal. Now if you look at this region, that is the Dharwar belt that was asked here. So we have gold deposits, Kolar gold fields you might have heard about. So you will find gold deposits here. Apart from gold deposits, some amount of copper you will find here, some amount of bauxite is found here as well. Plus in the upper area you will find iron ore also. And Krishna Godavari basin basically is this region, around the region where the Godavari and Krishna river are flowing outward into Bay of Bengal. That is region rich for the this oil deposits. And apart from that, this Assam region we talk about, this is Digboi and Naharkatia region, which is well known for its oil deposits in India. Now the next question is again a mineral based question, where the Indian coal question is asked about the Indian coal. So which of the following are the characteristics of Indian coal? So here we can see 3 characteristics are given. First is high ash content, second is low sulfur content, and third is low ash fusion temperature. Now which of these are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3 only. So if you try to look at the characteristic of Indian coal, basically the ash content is very high. It ranges somewhere between 25 to 55%. Moisture content is 4 to 7. Sulfur content is 0.2 to 1%. Gross calorific value is between 3100 to 5100, and volatile matter content is also very high, that is between 20 to 30%. So from here, if we try to answer this particular question, we can see that ash content is very high in the Indian coal. That is why many high grade iron steel manufacturing company, they do not use the domestic coal, rather they have to depend on the imported coals which they are bringing from countries such as Australia and Indonesia. The one reason is high ash content of the coal makes it unsuitable for such kind of high grade steel manufacturing. Second, if we talk about low sulfur content, that is obviously correct because the sulfur content is very low, 0.2 to 1% only. So the second option also is correct option. Now low ash fusion temperature, that is incorrect because if ash content is very high, that means ash fusion temperature will also be very high. That means the third option is incorrect. So correct option here is only A, that is 1 and 2 only. Indian coal definitely have high ash content, low sulfur content, but at the same time they are having high ash fusion temperature. Next question is about the distribution of water on the earth, and this is something that is given in NCERTs as well, that is given in all the standard books as well, and that is also something that keeps coming in news every now and then, because you know that different parts of the world are facing different extent of water crisis, especially fresh water crisis. So that is why these kind of topics, this kind of information is something that you are expected to know. So the question is simple: on the planet Earth, most of the fresh water exists as ice caps and glaciers. That you know, the most of the water is present in the Arctic region or the Antarctic region, and they are in the frozen state. Out of the remaining fresh water, where you will find the largest proportion of fresh water? Now, 4 options are given here: atmosphere as moisture in clouds, fresh water, lakes and river, groundwater, or the soil moisture. So, before understanding the answer, let us look at how the water is distributed, fresh water is distributed on the earth. So, first of all, before that also we can understand, if you take into consideration the entire globe, almost 96.5% of the water are found in the oceans, which obviously is your saline water. Remaining 0.9% that is found on the continental landmass are also saline water that you see in the salt lakes, and remaining 2.5% is only fresh water on the earth. So that is the irony, because earth, though it is called as blue planet, water planet, the consumable water or fresh water concentration is very less. Now, out of this 2.5% of fresh water present on the earth, as we have discussed and given in the question also, about 70%, roughly we can say 68.7%, they are locked in the form of glaciers and ice caps, which we cannot use directly. And groundwater is something that makes up 30% of your total fresh water. And then the surface or the fresh water makes up roughly about 1.2%. So from here also we got the answer of our question, because that is what they are asking, that apart from ice caps and glacier, where you will find the remaining largest proportion of remaining fresh water. So obviously 30% exist in the form of groundwater, and that is why C is the correct option here. However, if you go into more details, 30% is groundwater and 1.2% is surface water. Now within that also, if you look at the surface water composition, we can see 69% of the surface water are found in the form of ground ice and permafrost, 21% are in the lake, 3% are in the atmosphere, and then remaining these you can see soil moisture, swamps, marshes, rivers, living things, you will find the remaining amount of water. That means the concentration of water in the river is very less, even lesser than the soil moisture, lesser than the lakes obviously, lesser than the atmosphere also. So that is roughly how we can understand the distribution of fresh water on the ground surface. The next question is related to the river system, and the question is being asked that Narmada river flows to the west while most other large peninsular rivers flows to the east. What is the reason behind that? First, it occupies a linear rift valley. Second, it flows between Vindhyas and Satpuras, and third, the land slopes to the west from the central India. So if you look at the map of India here, this is the central part and the southern part of India. Now somewhere here you have two mountain ranges. In the north it is the Vindhya range, and in the south it is the Satpura range. And between Vindhya and Satpura ranges, river Narmada basically flows through outward toward Arabian Sea via the place called as Bharuch in the coastal city of Gujarat. More precisely, it flows into here you have a gulf that is called as Gulf of Khamba. So it occupies a linear valley. That is a correct option, because what it means, if you try to draw it cross sectionally, from the southern side you have the Satpura mountain, then you have a rift valley here, and then on the northern side you have another mountain, that is the Vindhya mountains or Vindhya hills we can say. So here we have Vindhya, here we have Satpura, and through this linear rift valley river Narmada flows through. That obviously is correct. Second, it flows between the Vindhyas and Satpura. That is by itself it is a correct option, but that does not explain the statement that why Narmada river flows to the west. So you not only have to pick the correct option, you also have to pick such correct option which are describing the question that has been asked. Land slopes to the west from central India, that is also incorrect, because this entire Indian landmass is tilted to the east, It is because of the way how collision has happened between the Indian plate and Eurasian plate. That is why the entire Indian landmass is tilted from northwest to the southeast. That is also incorrect. This is correct but not relevant to our question. So, correct option will be A only, that the reason why Narmada river is flowing in the western direction is because it flows to the linear rift valley lying between Vindhya in the north and Satpura in the south. And as you can see from here, this is the actual photograph that is taken of Narmada river. As you can see, on both sides of Narmada river you have the hilly terrain, and through this valley between these hills the river flows from east to west. Now, the next we have to discuss about the question that is asked about the climatology again. The annual range of temperature in the interior of the continent is high as compared to the coastal area. What can be the region or regions? 4 options are given here: thermal difference between land and water, variation in altitude between continent and ocean, presence of strong winds in the interior, and heavy rains in the interior as compared to the coast. Now, 4 options are given, as you can see from the question here. So, first, before describing what is the correct answer, we have to understand this term, that what do we mean by annual range of temperature. Annual range of temperature here means generally the maximum temperature that is recorded at any particular place, largely taken during the month of July, minus the minimum temperature that is recorded at a place in a given year, largely which happens in the month of January. So, T maximum of July minus T minimum of January. This difference is what that gives us the annual range of temperature. For example, let us say the highest temperature recorded in the New Delhi in the summer month was 46 degrees Celsius, and lowest temperature recorded in the month of January in the winter season in New Delhi was, let us say, 5 degrees Celsius. So, the annual range of temperature will be 46 minus 5, that is 41 degrees. So, this is high in the interior of the continent. If you compare that with the coastal areas, for example, we take Mumbai city as an example. Mumbai is a coastal city. So, in the summer time, Mumbai temperature will be 38, 39. In winter time, it will not drop significantly. It can be about 18 to 20. So, if you compare New Delhi and Mumbai, Mumbai has very narrow range of annual temperature, while Delhi has very high range of annual temperature. So, what is the reason behind this? So, the reason behind this simply can be explained by the differential rate of heating and cooling of the land versus water. Basically, let us say you have this kind of surface. This surface is your water surface, and this surface is your land surface. Now, the same amount of energy is being incident on both water and land surface. Water will heat up at slower rate and land will heat up at a faster rate. That means by producing or by causing same amount of energy to be incident on both surfaces, land will have high temperature, water will have relatively low temperature. Similarly, in the winter month, if cooling is happening, land loses heat at much more faster rate as compared to water. So, during winters, land will have much lower temperature and the water will have much more higher temperature. So, due to this differential rate of heating and cooling, what happens in the coastal areas, that you have the sea breezes and land breezes that start to move because of the temperature difference between the water surface and the land surface. And these sea breeze and land breeze is the one that regulates the temperature of the coastal areas. And this temperature regulation does not cause the temperature to either rise significantly or to fall down significantly either during the summer or winter respectively. That is why the annual temperature range in the coastal areas are much more lesser. Such kind of maritime effect is not observed in the interior of the continent because the entire area is basically made up of land surface. So, that is why here temperature rises and falls down significantly in both summers and winter. So, correct option obviously here is this, that is the thermal difference between land and water. These other factors do not have any role to play on the annual temperature range and its variation. So, obviously if you have to choose the right option, it is the A, that is 1 only. Next is variations in the length of daytime and night time from season to season. We know that on the earth we talk about 4 major seasons we are having: summer, after summer we have autumn, then we have winter, then we have spring. So, if we talk about the variations in the length of day, we know that during the summer season especially in the northern hemisphere. We talk about summer season northern hemisphere, it will have the longest day, that happens on 21st of June. Similarly, during the winter season, that is in the month of December, around 23rd of December, you have the longest night. So basically, the day length shortens and night length becomes longer in the winter, and day length become longer and night length becomes shorter as we come to the winter season. So this variation that happens in the length is because of what reason? 4 options are given. First, we know that Earth is rotating on its axis in roughly about 24 hours. Earth's revolution around the Sun in an elliptical manner, latitudinal positions of the place, and the revolution of Earth on a tilted axis. Now, this is very simple, straightforward question. The correct answer is D, that is revolution of the Earth on a tilted axis. We know that if we draw the axis of the Earth and take its position from the elliptical plane means the plane along which Earth is orbiting around the Sun. So, if you draw a perpendicular to this elliptical plane, the Earth's axis is tilted by about 23.5 degrees. This also is not fixed, it varies between 22.8 to 24.5, something in that range. But because of this tilt, what happens is when the Earth is tilted on its axis and is also revolving around the Sun, as you can see from here, what happens during the winter season in the northern hemisphere, Earth's northern hemisphere is tilted away from the Sun. That is why it is not receiving equal amount of sunlight. While southern hemisphere is oriented toward the Sun, that means it is able to receive sunlight for a longer duration of time. That is why in the winter season in northern hemisphere, you will have longer duration of day in the southern hemisphere, but shorter duration of day in the northern hemisphere. Same is reversed during the opposite cycle. When the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the Sun, that is all the places in the northern hemisphere receive sunlight for a longer duration, while the southern hemisphere, as we can see, the southern pole, it is tilted away from the Sun, and that is why these places in southern hemisphere are able to receive sunlight for a shorter duration of time, and that is why we are having variation between summer and winter in the length of day and night. If Earth's axis was not tilted, if Earth's axis was straight, then all the places would have equal day length, equal night length on the Earth, but that is not the case because of the tilt of this Earth's orbit. The next question is again match the following questions, where different geographical features have been asked and you have to find out that which of these are correctly matched with the region here. So, first is Abyssinian Plateau in Arabia, Atlas Mountains in Northwest Africa, Guinea Highlands in Southwest Africa, Okavango Basin in Patagonia. So, if we try to discuss one by one, Abyssinia is actually the ancient name of a country that we today call as Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is situated in Africa, and more precisely it is situated on what we call as the Horn of Africa. Horn of Africa, as you know, is this region that is lying along the Red Sea. So, Somalia, Eritrea, Ethiopia and Djibouti, these are 4 countries as a part of the Horn of Africa. So, obviously Arabia is incorrect option because Ethiopia is an African country. Second is Atlas Mountain in northwestern Africa. Now, this is correct. If you look at the location or the map of Africa, this red shaded region that you are seeing here, this basically represents your Atlas Mountain. So, indeed it is situated in the northwestern part of Africa. So, second is correct. Third is Guinea Highlands, southwestern Africa. That is incorrect. Guinea Highland is an equatorial African country situated near the western coast of Africa. So, if simply it was Western Africa, it would have been correct. So, it is not southwest, rather it is equatorial Western African region. Fourth is Okavango Basin, which is known for its budding this aquatic life, and that is located in Patagonia. That is incorrect. Patagonia is a desert which is situated in South America on the windward side of what we can call as the Andes mountain. So, it is a coastal desert. On the leeward side of Andes mountain, that is on the eastern coast of South America, and this is Okavango Basin is again a river basin situated in Africa. More precisely, the Okavango Basin is situated in a country that is called as Botswana. So, it is Botswana in Africa, not in Patagonia. So, correct answer is obviously Only one, the Atlas Mountains are correctly matched, other 3 are incorrect in nature. Next question is related to fishing grounds, that means we can say it is part of oceanography, and here we are seeing the question is given, the most important fishing grounds of the world are found in the regions where 4 options are given. Warm and cold atmospheric currents meet, rivers drain out large amount of fresh water into the sea, warm and cold oceanic currents meet, continental shelf is undulating. So, the fishing grounds we know that will be developed in those places where the density of the fishes, where the population of number of the fishes are very high, and where you will have the highest number of fishes, obviously where breeding is happening at rapid rate. And what will determine the rate of breeding? It will be determined by the amount of nutrients that is available in the water. Now, in this case, we see that generally wherever in the ocean meeting of warm and cold ocean current happens, the amount of oxygen as well as the amount of nutrients becomes many times higher, and this support a huge density of fish, and that is why the correct answer is C. This is actually where you will find the important fishing grounds on the earth. To give you an example, along the Canadian coast, in the we can say eastern coast of Canada, you have place that is called as Newfoundland. So, it is one of the major fishing grounds in the world. Why? Because we have meeting of cold Labrador current that is coming from the north and warm Gulf Stream that is coming from the south, and both these warm and cold current meet along Newfoundland, creating a fertile fishing ground here. Other example in Asia, if you look, that is the coast of Japan. So, it is along the coast of Japan where you have meeting of warm Kuroshio current coming from the south and cold Oyashio current that is coming from the north. So, this again makes it a very fertile fishing ground. Similarly, in along the coast of Argentina in South America, you have a place that is called as Bahia Blanca. So, along Bahia Blanca again what happens? From the north you have warm Brazil current that is coming, and then from the south you have the cold Labrador, cold Falkland current that comes. So, meeting of Brazil and Falkland current again creates huge fishing population here, fish population here, and thus it also becomes a main important fishing ground. So, that is why the meeting of warm cold ocean current is the most suitable region and the most suitable option here. So, that is all about this. If you look at the map here, we can see from this region. Here we have discussed the Falkland current from the south, Brazil current from the north, Gulf Stream from the south, and Labrador current from the north. So, this region. Similarly, on the coast of Japan, we can see we have meeting of Oyashio current and the Kyushu current. So, this region. So, these three we can demarcate as major fishing ground developing due to meeting of warm and cold oceanic current, as you can see. Next is question related to the forest or natural vegetation part, where it has been asked that which of the following are unique characteristic or characteristics of equatorial forest. Now, equatorial forest means the forest which are found along the equatorial belt lying between 5 degrees south to 5 degrees north roughly of the latitude. So, presence of tall closely set trees with crowns forming a continuous canopy, coexistence of large number of species, presence of numerous varieties of epiphytes. So, 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, and 1, 2 and 3. So, correct option here obviously is D. All the 3 options are basically correct. Equatorial forests are also sometimes called as rainforest. Now, we know that why they are called rainforest, because the amount of rain that happens here are very high. Every day at the equator you will have certain amount of rainfall that happens. Plus, we know that latitude wise these are equatorial zones, temperature is also very high. So, high temperature, high rainfall condition create a very tall kind of trees, and because both water and rainfall and temperature is abundant, the trees are also closely set. That means the density of the vegetation in forest are very high. You will not find even a small patch of forest which is not covered with any kind of trees or plants, with crowns forming a continuous canopy, because rainfall is abundant. So, trees do not have to shed their leaves, and since trees do not have to shed their leaves, the upper part, that is the crown part made up of foliages, leaves, are what we call as canopy. So, it looks like continuous in nature. Another way, if I try to show it on the image, this is how equatorial rainforest will look like. You can see, if you imagine you are flying over the equatorial forest, you will not find any kind of what we can say gaps in the canopy cover. You can see the canopy cover is almost continuous in nature. Trees are very, very tall in nature. So that is why the first is correct. Second is obviously species diversity is very, very high. It is said that within 1 square kilometer of equatorial forest, you can find at least 300 to 400 different species of plants and trees. And third, numerous varieties of epiphytes are found here as well. Epiphytes basically refer to such kind of plants which are not able to support their own growth, especially vertical growth if we talk about. That means epiphytes are such plants which need support of some other trees and plants to grow in the upward direction or in the downward or in the horizontal direction. So, two types of epiphytes is what we can find in the forest. One are called as climbers, other are called as creepers. So, climbers which grow in the upward direction taking support of the other trees or plants. Creepers that grow horizontally, they spread horizontally by going from one trunk of the tree to the other trunk of the tree. So, both are found in very huge numbers in the equatorial forest. So, that is why all the three are correct option that we can find here. So, this is the D, which is the correct option. Next, characteristics have been given about a particular region on the earth. First, the climate is extreme, rainfall is scanty, and the people used to be nomadic herders. Above statement best describe which of the following regions. So, obviously, this describes your Central Asian steppe. If you have studied climatic regions of the earth, you know that in Central Asian steppe, climate is extreme means what? This is a continental area. There is no water body around it, so there is no moderating influence of the ocean as such. So, during summer time, we just have discussed what will happen. Land will heat up at a much more faster rate. So, temperature will become very, very high, 40-45 degrees. In winter, what will happen? Cooling will happen to extreme extent. So, temperature can drop as low as -20, -30 degrees Celsius. So, annual temperature range is very, very higher here. That is what we mean by term climate is extreme. Second, rainfall is scanty, obviously because it is far away from any kind of water sources. So, amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is less. So, if the water vapor amount is less, obviously condensation will be less. If condensation is less, cloud density will be less, and if cloud density is less, the amount of rainfall will be scanty. And the people used to be nomadic herders, obviously because due to extreme climate, low scanty rainfall, the area is not suitable for agricultural activity. So, if area is not suitable for agricultural activity, that means what will happen to the people living here? They cannot settle at any particular place because they cannot grow anything there. So, to survive, what they have to do? They have to move from one place to other place in search of food, in search of water, in search of business activities, economy and all these kind of things. So, all these three correctly refer to Central Asian steppe. African savanna climate is this not extreme in the sense these are grasslands. Why they are grassland? Because some amount of rainfall happens here. Rainfall is not scant in the sense. Plus, people who are living in savanna, they are hunting gathering people. So, they are living in a particular area where they used to hunt the animals, and nowadays they are also getting engaged in herding activities based on the cattle life, cattle based activity. North American prairie is abundant grassland. Here again people are not nomadic herders, rather they are settled cultivator and settled herder. Second and last, Siberian tundra, again this is a very extreme kind of climate. So, basically temperature is very, very low here, and the people here do not have any other option, but they have to depend on the wildlife as well as the fishing as their major economic activity. So, people here are hunting, gathering and belonging to the fishing community, not from the nomadic herding community. So, that is all about this particular question. The correct answer obviously will be that is Central Asian steppe. If you try to look at the land mass, this is how the Central Asian steppe look like. You can see a large area, barren kind of land is there with very small grasses that is growing. People here are dependent on the animals such as sheep, goats, but they cannot keep grazing in the same area again and again. That is why they have to move continuously from one region to other region, so that sheep and goats can feed upon, other animals can also feed upon new grasslands, and from there they are able to sustain their livelihood. Overall, if you look at the map, this blue region that you are seeing from here is the one that represents the expansion of steppe, extending all the way from Europe, then through the central part of Asia and all the way up to the Mongolia and China in the east. That is the expansion of this particular climatic zone. Next is again a question that has been asked about Which of the following are responsible for bringing dynamic changes on the surface of the earth? Now 6 options are given here: electromagnetic radiation, geothermal energy, gravitational force, plate movements, rotation of earth and revolution of earth. Now this is very simple question, because dynamic changes is something that happens due to all of these forces that is acting on the earth. For example, electromagnetic radiation that is coming from sun or solar radiation is what we can call it. Now solar radiation, you know that it is responsible for a lot of changes that happens on the earth. For example, you have the rise and fall of the sea level that happens on the ground level, that also varies as the solar radiation varies. Occurrences of day and night, growth of natural vegetation. You also have erosion that happens in mountains area due to temperature fluctuation, temperature changes. So a lot of dynamic changes can happen due to electromagnetic radiation. Second is geothermal energy, that is produced because of the presence of the hot magma or lava below the earth's surface, that also produces a lot of changes on the earth's surface. You have formation of geysers that happen here, you have formation of hot springs that happen here. Gravitational force, obviously it causes a lot of changes. For example, the moon's gravitational force, it causes tides on the earth, and tide causes rise and fall of sea level as the moon revolves around the earth. Plate movements, we know that earth is divided into multiple plates, total 7 major plates are there, and whenever these plates move, they interact with each other, and these interactions result into many dynamic changes, such as the formation of land masses such as mountains, continents, plateaus, formation of valleys, you have volcanic eruptions, you have earthquakes, all these natural hazards, tsunamis, all these are basically because of the plate movement. Rotation of earth, as we have discussed, obviously as the earth rotates, what happens? You have occurrences of day, night and in between twilight, and also rotation of earth creates a centrifugal force. This centrifugal force causes change in the height of troposphere on the earth's surface. And revolution of earth, as we have discussed, it is responsible for the changing in the seasons, change in the length of day and night, and all these also are responsible for bringing a lot of changes on the surface of earth. So correct option here is all 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. In this year, the last question which we can discuss is related to the industries, where a question has been asked that which one among the following industries is the maximum consumer of water in India. 4 options are given: engineering, paper and pulp, textiles and thermal power. Now in this case, all these are a water guzzling industry. That means they are less water efficient industries, require huge volume of water for the production. But out of these 4, thermal power is the one that uses gigantic volume of water in its process, and the correct answer is D. To understand this more clearly, we can look at this pie chart here, where the amount of water utilized by each of the industries are given here. So if 100 kg of water is concerned, 87.9% of this is consumed by thermal power alone. If you compare other industries, engineering, it consumes about 5.1% of water. Pulp and paper, it consumes about 2.3% of total water. Textile consumes 2.1%, and then you have the other industries such as steel industry, sugar industry, fertilizer industry, they consume the other remaining percentage, and then all the other industries that you have heard about, they consume just 0.8% of the total water supply. That is why thermal power plant, they are the maximum consumer of water in India. If you want to arrange them in the increasing decreasing order, after thermal power plant, textile, paper and pulp, engineering, what is the correct option? Thermal power plant, engineering, pulp and paper and textile in the decreasing order as far as the consumption of water is concerned. So now this is about the first set of the question that we have discussed about 2013 prelims. Next we have to discuss about is 2014-15 prelims question that we can discuss here. So let us try to understand that. Now here the question has been asked about in the South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific region, in tropical latitudes, cyclones do not originate. What is the reason behind this? So, South Atlantic and Southeastern Pacific region, that means if we talk about this area on the map, we can see this region is the South Atlantic and this region is basically your South Pacific. So, these areas, the yellow area that you are seeing on the map here are the one that are cyclone prone regions. So, basically why cyclone do not originate in these regions? Answer is very simple. Basically, there are 3-4 major conditions that is required for the origin of cyclones. Now, what are these conditions? First condition we can discuss is the sea surface temperature. That is the most important condition here. So, for the origin and development of cyclone, sea surface temperature should be somewhere higher than 27 degrees Celsius. If it is lower than this, then cyclones do not originate, no matter how much is the velocity of wind or how much is the convergence of the wind. So, the correct option here obviously is this. In these regions such as Southeastern Pacific and South Atlantic, they are very open kind of ocean. Open in the sense that they are continuously receiving cold water from the Antarctic region, from the Southern Ocean, and due to the mixing of cold water, temperature of these oceans do not exceed 27 degrees Celsius, and that is why cyclones do not originate. ITCZ seldom occur, that is incorrect. ITCZ occurs in these areas as well. Coriolis force is too weak, that is incorrect. Coriolis force depends on the value of the latitude angle, and latitude angle is same both either in North Atlantic or South Atlantic if you talk about the same areas. Absence of land in those regions. There is a land, though their lands are basically, we cannot say it is absent, because the South America, part of Australia, Africa, they are extending into these regions as well. So, correct option is A, first one. Again, question is from the Indian geography, where it has been asked that which one of the following pairs of state of India indicates the easternmost and the westernmost state. That means this is something you can understand and answer if you have studied properly the map of India. So, if you look at the map of India here, we can see the westernmost state is obviously which one? Gujarat. And if you go to the easternmost part of India, the easternmost state is which one? It is the Arunachal Pradesh. So, that due to this, what is the correct answer? Correct answer is D, that is Arunachal Pradesh and Gujarat, which represent the easternmost and the westernmost state of India. Third question is again from the oceanography, where it has been asked that what explains the eastward flow of the equatorial counter current. Now, basically what it means, if suppose let us say this is the equator and this is 0 degree equator. So, along both sides of equator, generally ocean current flows from east to west. This is because overall the wind movement is also from east to west, because on the upper side you have the northeast trade winds, from the lower side you have the southeast trade winds. So, due to this surface wind, the ocean current are flowing in east to west direction. However, in between these equatorial currents, you have near the equator a small counter current flows in the opposite direction like this. This counter current is something that is called as equatorial counter current. So, why this counter current is flowing from west to east if the major current are flowing from east to west? The reason is 4 options are given: the Earth's rotation on its axis, convergence of 2 equatorial current, difference in the salinity of water, and occurrence of the belt of calm near the equator. Now, see, the Earth's rotation on its axis does not cause any kind of current as such, because water is part of the Earth itself. So, when the Earth is rotating, the entire thing is rotating along with itself. That means we can consider the water of the ocean also as a part of the Earth system as well. Convergence of 2 equatorial current, that is the correct option, because here what do we have? Here we have land masses are there. For example, if this side, let us say it is your Africa, that means this side you will have South America. So, when the dominant current are moving from Africa to South America, what happens? Here the water volume increases. That means water start to accumulate here, and as both these equatorial currents converge here, water level rises up and a small amount of water due to this water gradient start to flow in the reverse direction. So, that is why the B is the correct option. Salinity difference does not create this kind of water current, because salinity is same everywhere around the equator. We are not changing any kind of latitude here. And occurrence of the belt of calm near the equator, belt of calm is something that is called as doldrums. So, when the wind movement is almost absent there, so since wind movement is almost absent, it does not have to do anything with the development of current. So, that is why this is also incorrect option. And this is what we have discussed before. If we take Pacific Ocean also an example, what we are seeing, we have the North Equatorial Pacific Current, we have South Equatorial Pacific Current, and around the Australian coast what happens due to the accumulation of water by both this current, a small counter current start to flow from Australia toward South and North America, which is referred as equatorial counter current. Then fourth we have is, consider the following pairs. 3 places of pilgrims are given in India obviously. First is Sri Salam, then we have Omkareshwar, then we have Pushkar. And you have been asked to match whether these places of pilgrims are found in these hills or not. So, Sri Salam in Nallamalla Hills, Omkareshwar in the Satmala Hills, and Pushkar in the Mahadev Hills. Which of these are correct? So, Pushkar is a place which is well known for having the only temple of Lord Brahma in India, and Pushkar is situated in the state of Rajasthan. And this Mahadev Hills, we know it is part of Satpura range. That means Mahadev Hills are situated in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So, from that logic, obviously what we can say, Pushkar cannot be part of Mahadev Hills as it is in Rajasthan. Second, if we talk about Omkareshwar, the Omkareshwar is situated in the, not in the Satmala Hills, because Satmala Hills again it is situated in the state of Maharashtra. Omkareshwar is situated in the state of Madhya Pradesh. So, again we can say it is incorrect option. The only correct option here is Sri Salam, that is in Andhra Pradesh. There is a hill called as Nallamalla Hills. So, Sri Salam is actually situated in Andhra Pradesh in the Nallamalla range of Andhra Pradesh, which is part of the eastern Ghats of India. So, due to this reason, it is a simple fact based question where you, if you have studied properly the map of India, if you have studied properly the major places on India, you will be able to answer such kind of questions easily. Even if you, for example, we can see, even if you do not know all the answers perfectly, by using the method of elimination here, this question could have been solved. Even if you do not know that where these pilgrimage places are part of these hills or not, you know that these pilgrim places are located in which states. And also in the geographical region of India, you have to discuss about the states and what are the major hill and mountain ranges there. So, by combining these two information, you can indeed reach at the correct option. So, that is about this particular question. Next question is again based on the rivers, where it has been asked that which of the given river above are tributaries of Godavari. Now, Godavari, you know, it is one of the major rivers of South India. Actually, it is the longest river of peninsular India, we can say. Longest river of peninsular India, and due to its religious cultural significance, Godavari river is also referred as South Ganga or Dakshin Ganga. So, what are these, which of these tributaries are part of Godavari's tributaries? So, Godavari has several tributaries. For example, river Pranhita is one of the major tributaries of Godavari. 3 rivers are there that is coming from the north. One is Vainganga, one is Vardha, one is Penganga. So, when Penganga, Vardha and Vainganga join together, after joining together they form a common river stream. This common river stream is called as Pranhita, which then goes and meet with the river Godavari in the state of Madhya Pradesh, in the state of Maharashtra. Similarly, we talk about Pennar river. Now, we know that Pennar river is an independent river that is coming out from the Nandi hills of Bengaluru and flowing through the state of Tamil Nadu further into the Bay of Bengal. So, that cannot be a tributary of Godavari. Third is upper two, we have Vamsadhara and Indravati. Now, Indravati is a river that originates from the eastern Ghat. More precisely, Kondhan hills are there. So, from Kondhan hills of eastern Ghat, Indravati river originates, then flows through the state of Chhattisgarh, where it forms a very picturesque waterfall called as Chitrakoot waterfalls, and then further it flows in the eastward direction, westward direction where it joins the river Godavari in the state of Maharashtra. So Indravati indeed is a tributary of Godavari river. Pranhita also we discussed is a tributary of Godavari river. Pennar is not a tributary. Vamsadhara again, it is an independent river that originates from the eastern Ghat but flows independently toward the state of Odisha. So that is not the correct option. That means from this logic, from this information, 2 and 3 is the only correct option. That means for this question, D is the correct option. So if you look at again the Godavari and its flow pattern, this we have discussed. This is the river Pranhita, that is tributary of Godavari. This is river Indravati, that is coming from the eastern side, tributary of Godavari. These are the two major tributaries. Apart from that, Purna, Dudna, you have river Sabri, Sileru, then from the right you have river Manjira. These are some of the other notable tributaries of Godavari. So in peninsular India, 4 major rivers we are having: Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri and this Mahanadi river. So the tributaries of these rivers are something that you have to keep in mind, you have to remember. And also you have to make sure that do not get confused with the tributaries of one river with the other river, because many times it happens like that. So make sure that for these rivers, because tributaries of Godavari and the other peninsular rivers have been asked many times before in the prelims examination. So make sure you are prepared for that. Next question is about the industries, where it has been asked that in India the steel production industry requires the import. Import, we know that when we have to buy something from outside of India. So which of these are imported for the production of the steel in India? So saltpeter, rock phosphate, coking coal, and D, all of the above. So see, again that is why we are discussing it, because if you look at the previous questions, many times though the exact questions are not being asked, what is happening? The spirit of the question that has been asked earlier, or the options that might be given in the questions earlier, that is being repeated next time. For example, in last year we have discussed that they have asked about the characteristics of the coal of India, and there we have discussed that it has high ash content. So if they have high ash content, I just told you that many industries, they have to depend on import of coal from Australia and Indonesia, because these coals are having low ash content which is needed by these industries. So from that logic, obviously what you can say, that coking coal is something that has to be imported by Indian steel industry for production of steel. In other way, actually saltpeter is something, if you go into more detail, saltpeter is a general name for the potassium nitrate, and this is not used in the production of steel. So if it is not used in the production of steel, there is no this question of importing it. It is instead used in the fertilizer industry, tree stump removal, rocket propellants, as well as fireworks. It is one of the major constituents of gunpowder also, and has been used since the Middle Ages as a food preservative. India definitely imports coking coal, as we have discussed. It requires about 0.8 tons of coking coal to produce 1 ton of steel. So not only India imports coking coal, but it also has to import coking coal in very huge amount and very huge number. So that is about this. Rock phosphate is something that is again India do not have to this imported. It is found in India also, and largely again this is something that is used in the fertilizer industry. Next question is about the from the section of climatology, where the question about winds has been asked. The first statement is the winds which blow between 30° north and 60° south latitudes throughout the year are known as westerlies. Second question is the moist air masses that cause winter rains in the northwestern region of India are part of westerlies. So which of these statements are correct? Now if you read in detail, here a small difference is there. Basically what happens, that is, if you have not read the question in very great detail, you might pick that this is the correct option. But actually if you look at the map of the world, and if you look at the distribution of the surface winds, what we see between 0° to 30° north, 30° south, these area is occupied by the trade winds, northeasterly trade winds, southeasterly trade winds. Between 30 to 60° north, 30 to 60° south is the region which we call as the region of westerlies wind, and between 60 to 90° both we are having a polar easterlies wind. Now as per question, what they are asking is the winds which blow between 30° north and 60° south throughout the year are known as westerlies. This is incorrect, because here it should be 30° south to 60° south, or 30° north and 60° north. Between these zones we are having two kind of wind, trade winds as well as westerlies wind. So that is why this becomes a kind of incorrect option statement. Next is the moisture masses that cause winter rain in northeastern India of India are part of westerlies. That is indeed correct. Basically, you have subtropical westerly jet streams that are moving, and these southern branch of this jet stream are the one that is responsible for causing rainfall, especially in the Himalayan regions, and these are also locally called as westerlies wind. So, correct answer will be, that is 2 is the only correct option in this region. Next is question again from the Indian geography, where it has been asked that in a particular region of India, the local people train the roots of living trees into robust bridges across the streams. As the time passes, these bridges become stronger. These unique bridges, which are called as living root bridge, are found in which of the states of India? Now, this is again a factual question. If you know this kind of facts, you will be able to answer this. There is no such guesswork that is involved here. So, correct answer here is Meghalaya. Meghalaya, one of the major attraction of Meghalaya is the living root bridges, where people are able to guide the roots of trees into making the bridges. And this bridge looks something like this, as you can see from the image here. You can see basically this is on one side of tree you have a thick root, other side of tree also you have root. So, by using these roots, by connecting these roots from one side to other side, and on the bottom you can see you have a river stream that is passing through. So, gradually over a period of time, these roots become stronger and stronger, their network becomes much more branches out, or network becomes much more stronger, and that is why it is being used as a bridge. The difference is that this is a living root bridge, that means this root is not dead, they are still in the process of growth and absorbing nutrients. Next is tides. Question has been asked about oceanic tides. The tides occur in the oceans and seas due to which among the following? Now, 3 options are given: gravitational force of the sun, gravitational force of the moon, and centrifugal force of the earth. Now, again, all these 3 factors are responsible for the tide. Basically, if let us say this is the earth, and the entire earth is basically surrounded by water from all the sides. So, no matter whichever celestial body we talk about, if we let us say this is the moon, moon exerts gravitational force on the earth. Due to this, the place exactly below the moon is being pulled up toward the moon, and thus water level rises here. Similarly, if we talk about sun, if sun is situated here, sun also exerts gravitational force. So, the water is also pulled toward the sun here, that causes rise of water level in this region. And similarly, as the earth is rotating on its axis at very fast rate, due to this rotation of earth along its axis, what happens is that you have a centrifugal force that is acting away from the center of earth comes into picture, and this centrifugal force and also causes the change in the sea level depending on the latitude of the earth. So, all 3 collectively are responsible for the occurrences of tides, which can be categorized, which can be defined as the periodic rise and fall of sea level between high tide and low tides. In other way, this is how we can also explain the moon's gravitational force pulling the water level here, and on the other side the water level is rising, but that rise is because of the centrifugal force. Again, a question has been asked from the natural vegetation or forest chapter, where you have to consider 3 states: Arunachal Pradesh, we have Himachal Pradesh, we have Mizoram. So, in which of the above states do tropical wet evergreen forests occur? Now, if you look closely here, tropical wet evergreen forest basically means forest which is requiring more than 200 centimeters of annual average rainfall, and depending on that also we have to understand that what are the latitudes where these states are situated, because if you know the latitude where these states are situated, we can understand the pattern of rainfall. So, basically Arunachal Pradesh, that is situated in northeastern part of India, I know that we have a heavy rainfall that happens here. Himachal Pradesh is a Himalayan state that is situated somewhere in the western part of Himalayas, and I know that in these regions the amount of rainfall is less. Mizoram similarly is also situated in the northeastern India, where we are having the abundant heavy amount of rainfall. So, thus since these rainfall require these forests require heavy amount of rainfall, the correct answer should be C, 1 and 3 only, where you will find the tropical wet evergreen forest. Himachal Pradesh since it is a Himalayan state, and in these state of Himachal Pradesh, you will find forest which is temperate in nature, coniferous kind of forest you can find here. Not only that, mountain wet temperate, mountain dry temperate forest you can find here. Because tropical kind of climate you cannot find in the Himalayan states such as Himachal Pradesh. For tropical kind of climate, the place need to be closer to the tropic, and both Arunachal Pradesh and Mizoram are close to tropics. So that is how we can come to the conclusion of that particular question. Next is about map based question which has been asked about the Mediterranean Sea, that which one of the following countries of Southwest Asia does not open. Again, see here, it is not asking which the countries are open, it is asking which country does not open out to the Mediterranean Sea. 4 options are given: Syria, Jordan, Lebanon and Israel. So let us look at the map of Mediterranean Sea. This is your Mediterranean Sea, and as you can see from here, we have Syria. So Syria indeed has a border, that means it is opening out to the Mediterranean Sea. Lebanon also is opening out to the Mediterranean Sea. Israel also is opening out to the Mediterranean Sea. And here we talk about this region, basically this region. This is a country, that is Jordan, having border with Israel and Syria, this country. So as we can see, Jordan is kind of landlocked country. So the correct answer obviously is Jordan. Jordan does not open out to the Mediterranean Sea, but Syria, Lebanon and Israel touch. So obviously the correct answer is B, that is Jordan. Similar kind of question was asked earlier also, where they have asked that which of the countries open out to the Mediterranean Sea. So that is why solving previous year question becomes very, very important for next year prelims examination as well. Next is, in India, which one of the following types of forest is teak, a dominant tree species? Now teak tree and sal tree, both trees are part of the same group of natural vegetation, which are one of the most dominant vegetation, or the what we can say, trees of India. Tropical moist deciduous, tropical rainforest, tropical thorn scrub forest, temperate forest with grassland. So obviously correct answer here is tropical moist deciduous forest, which is also the second largest group of forest in India after tropical dry deciduous. And if you consider them both together, the tropical deciduous forest occupies the largest area of forest in India, somewhere about 77 to 78% of the forest area of India. So teak is part of tropical moist deciduous forest, apart from trees such as sal trees. If you look at the distribution, this is the distribution of the tropical deciduous vegetation zone that we were discussing about, both in India as well as outside of India. Again, a statement has been given. The question can be considered to be part of climatic regions of the world, where it has been asked that each day is more or less the same. The morning is clear and bright with sea breeze. As the sun climbs high up in the sky, heat mounts up, dark clouds form, then rain comes with thunder and lightning, but the rain is soon over. Which of the following regions is described in the above passage? Savanna, equatorial, monsoon and Mediterranean. Now here if we talk about each day is more or less the same, what it means? It means that the duration of length of the day and length of night is almost same in nature. That we have discussed. Generally where it happens? Around the equator zone. Morning is clear and bright with sea breeze. As the sun climbs high, heat mounts up, dark clouds form, the rain comes with thunder and lightning. That also is characteristic of equatorial zone, because every day what is happening? It receives very high amount of solar energy, and as it receives very high amount of solar energy, what happens? Every day somewhere between 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. the cloud density is very, very higher, and thus for 2 hours you have very heavy sudden rainfall that is recorded here. But once 2 hours of heavy rainfall has happened, the surface becomes cool again, and as the surface becomes cooler, the fresh winds cannot rise up. That means no more condensation, no more cloud formation, no more rainfall. That is why they are asking that rain is soon over. And after that again, sunset is happening. So again there is no possibility for heating of the ground surface. Next heating will again happen when? In the next day, somewhere from the afternoon or mid-noon. So same thing is repeated again and again. So for this, the correct option obviously is the equatorial region, which perfectly suits the given statements requirement. Savanna region, you do not have everyday rainfall. Monsoon, again 3-4 months of heavy rainfall is there, followed by a dry period. Mediterranean belt, you have rainfall that happens in the winter season while summer season is dry, and lot of changes happen. For example, the Mediterranean region is the one that sees all 4 types of seasons. So changes are happening every day on day-to-day basis. So that is all about the question that has been asked from this particular this year, that is 2015. Next we can look at the other year, that is from 2016. So if you look at the question here, again match the following kind of question has been asked, where similar kind of question is, you can see it has been asked in the earlier years as well, where a famous place is given and the region is given, and you have to find out that whether this famous place is situated in the given region or not. So you have Bodh Gaya in the Baghelkhand, Khajuraho, Bundelkhand, Sirdi, Vidarbha, Nasik, Malwa, Tirupati, Rayalaseema. Which of these are correctly matched with each other? Now, as we can see from here, Bodh Gaya is situated in the state of Bihar, and Baghelkhand, we know that this is a plateau located in the state of Chhattisgarh. That means obviously first option is incorrect option. Khajuraho, we know that it is a very famous temple situated in state of Madhya Pradesh. Bundelkhand is something that is also part of 2 states, that is MP plus UP, and indeed Khajuraho is part of Bundelkhand region of Madhya Pradesh. So second option is correct one. Third is Sirdi. Sirdi, we know that it is a well-known temple situated in the state of Maharashtra. Vidarbha region, on the other hand, it is dry region. So Sirdi is situated in the other side of Western Ghat. That means this again becomes incorrect option. Nasik is not part of Malwa, because Nasik again is situated on the river Godavari in the state of Maharashtra, and Malwa plateau is part of Madhya Pradesh. That means again this is incorrect option. Tirupati, if we talk about this, indeed is part of Telangana, and which part of Telangana? That is Rayalaseema we are having. So correct option is C, that is 2 and 5 only. This is Rayalaseema, that is in Andhra Pradesh. So correct option is 2nd and 5 only, that is only correct option. The other 3 are not correctly matched. If you look at the more clearly on the map of India here, we will understand Baghelkhand plateau is here, that is in the Chhattisgarh. Bundelkhand is at the border of Madhya Pradesh and Uttar Pradesh. Here we have Chotanagar plateau, here we have Deccan plateau, here we have Malwa plateau. Rayalaseema region, as we can see from here, on the upper side we have Telangana, and this is the Andhra, where we have coastal Andhra, and then we have the Rayalaseema region where we have Kurnool, Anantapur, Tirupati. All these regions are situated. Next question, again you can see the question is being repeated. Last year also they have asked questions about the tributaries of Brahmaputra. They have asked which tributaries of river Godavari. This year they have asked what? The tributaries of river Brahmaputra. So similar kind of questions are being asked from the major rivers of India, and that is what your focus should be. So Dibang, Kameng, Lohit, which of these are the tributaries of Brahmaputra? The answer is all. Again these are factual question, all the 3 rivers. If you look at the map here, the river Brahmaputra originate from the Tibet plateau. Here we have Kailash range. So from Kailash range of Tibet plateau, river originate, flows in the west to east direction by the name of Shangpo in Tibet. Then it enters near Namcha Barwa, that is the name of the peak in Arunachal Pradesh. So near Namcha Barwa it enters into India, then it takes a U-turn because of syntaxial bending on the Himalayas, and after taking a U-turn it flows in the state of Assam, and then after Assam it then flows out further into the Bangladesh. Now once it enters into the Arunachal Pradesh, it receives tributaries such as Dibang and Lohit. Then we have other tributaries such as Kameng is there, Subansiri is there, Manas river, Redak river, Jaldhaka river. These are the major tributaries of river Godavari. So Dibang indeed is a tributary. Lohit also is a tributary, and Kameng, as we can see, this is river Kameng. This is also a tributary of river Godavari. That is Brahmaputra. That is why all the three, 1, 2 and 3 is the correct option. So D is the right option here. Then next question is asked about again natural resources, where they have asked that in which of the following regions of India are shale gas resources found? Cambay Basin. Cambay Basin is basically the anglicized name of Gulf of Khambat. If I draw like this here. So this is Gulf of Khambat or Gulf of Cambay. Second is Kaveri Basin. We know that river Kaveri that flows out in the Tamil Nadu, and the Krishna Godavari Basin slightly in the north, where you will find the shale gas resources in India. The options are given here. So if you look at the map of India and understand the distribution of shale gases, as per the Oil and Ministry of Oil and Natural Gases, all the three regions, that is Cambay Basin in the west, Krishna Godavari Basin in the east, and Kaveri Basin also in the eastern part of India, are where we are having Phanerozoic basins that produces oil and natural gases. Apart from that, in Assam Arakan Basin, in Rajasthan Basin and Mumbai Offshore Basin are the regions where else you can find the shale gases. The blue regions that are mentioned here are Gondwana basins, where you will find the availability or abundance of the coal, not shale gases. So that is why the correct answer here will be D. All the three places are where you can find this shale gases. Shale gases are such gases, natural gases, which are trapped below the surface of earth within the impermeable rock layer, and largely the process of fracking is used to extract these gases. In the process of fracking, what happens? A strong electric discharge is sent through the rocks of the earth. This causes rocks to burst or crack at different places, and then through these cracks and gaps the gases rise up, which is then collected and then can be used for multiple purposes. Next question is related to scheme, that with reference to the scheme that is initiative for nutritious security through intensive millet promotion. Now millets are coarse grain which are also suitable for dryland farming. Example are ragi, jowar, bajra. So which of the following statements are correct? First, this initiative aims to demonstrate the improved production and post-harvest technologies and to demonstrate value addition techniques in an integrated manner with a cluster approach. Second, poor, small, marginal and tribal farmers have a larger stake in this scheme. And third, an important objective of the scheme is to encourage farmers of commercial crops to shift to millet cultivation by offering them free kits of critical inputs of nutrient and micro irrigation equipment. Now again, this is a factual topic where you have to study the major schemes that are being announced by the government of India, and if you look at the scheme objectives, the 1 and 2 are the correct objective, because millet production is something that is very beneficial for the poor, small, marginal farmers, because if they are over dependent on cereal crop production are largely dependent on the availability of water, and in case of deficit monsoon, what happens? The entire crop collapses, and that is why they have to suffer a lot. So obviously if they are depending on millets, they will have much more larger stake in this scheme. Their overall livelihood opportunity can be ensured to a greater extent here. Third is to encourage farmers of commercial crops. No, it is not the intensive. Objective is the small marginal farmers, not the commercial farmers who are already producing the cash crop, because they are not producing cash crop for their own consumption. They are using this for getting money from the market. So that is not the objective. So C is the correct option here, 1 and 2 only. Again, it is a current affairs based question where it was asked in 2016, since region is there in Rajasthan. So the project was basically to develop almost 590 kilometer long inland canal that you can see from the map here, that will connect the Gujarat and Rajasthan through a river. That is Javai river is there, you have Luni river is there, you have Kori Creek is there around the Run of Kutch region. And this project will create an alternative transportation method of transportation as compared to the landward transportation that we are seeing between Gujarat and Rajasthan. So that is what the canal was all about. So the correct answer obviously is Rajasthan, which was this exploring the possibility of constructing this artificial inland canal in India. Again, a question has been asked about the river system itself. Recently, linking of which of the following rivers was undertaken. So in 2016, the first river interlinking project where connectivity was ensured between river Godavari and river Krishna. KG being river linking was something that was undertaken, and this is something that we can describe from the map here as well. On the upper side, northern side, you have Godavari river flowing through the Andhra Pradesh. Lower side also you have the Krishna river. So the project was to connect Godavari and Krishna river by constructing canals such as Polavaram canal, reservoirs such as Vela Galeru reservoir, and then further a barrage over Krishna river, so that transfer of water can happen. That barrage is called as Prakasham barrage. So that is how the connectivity was ensured. Basically the project was aimed to save almost 1000 trillion meter cubic feet of Godavari water that is going into west into sea every year. This water can be transported to Krishna river, and from Krishna river this can be further transported to the Krishna basin states. The cost to project is almost 60,000 crore, where surplus water will be taken from Akinapalli barrage that is situated on the Godavari river. It will transfer to Nagarjuna Sagar project that is on the Krishna river, and from there water will be transferred to the Somasila dam in the Pennar basin and the Grand Anicut that is situated on the river Kaveri. So overall it does not only link two rivers, that is Godavari and Krishna, it also further connects river Kaveri, the other important peninsular river, and also a small river that is Pennar river between Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. So that is the overall Krishna Godavari project. Next question has been asked about a community. Which community are residing in which of the given regions of the world? So we have Kurds, Bangladesh, Madhesi, Nepal, Rohingya, Myanmar. Which of the pair given above are correctly matched? So basically if you look at each of these community, Kurds are the community that are residing in the western part of Asia, which are spread over this brown region that you are seeing from here, which is located in countries such as Iran, Armenia, Turkey, Syria and Iraq in the south. So obviously the first statement is incorrect statement. Kurds are not found in West Bangladesh, rather collectively we can say they are found in the or located in the West Asia. If we talk about the Rohingyas, Rohingyas are situated, or Rohingyas actually used to live in the Rakhine state. Rakhine is a coastal state of Myanmar. However, due to the action taken by Myanmar's army and also the non-granting of citizenship right to the Rohingyas, they have now fled to the Bangladesh, and the largest Rohingya refugee population currently is lying in the Cox's Bazar region of the Bangladesh. So the option Rohingyas of Myanmar, this is correct option. Second is Madhesi. So Madhesis are also living in this state, living in Nepal. As you can see from here, that overall the Madhes are the plain residing or plain inhabiting population of Nepal that cover 22 of Nepal's 75 districts. And this is the region that you are seeing from here. The upper part of Nepal, which is mountainous area, and lower part along the Uttar Pradesh Bihar region is a plain area. So Madhes are this is region is which is called as Madhes, and Madhesis are inhabitant of this plain region of Nepal. So second is correct, third is correct. So correct option obviously will be C. That is second and third option is the correct option here. So that is all about what is the question that has been asked in 2013, 14 and 16. 3 years of preliminary question we have discussed. So that is all for today. In next class again we will discuss about the other years of question that has been asked in the prelims examination of UPSC from the geography subject.
Attention all UPSC aspirants, are you ready to embark on a transformative journey towards success? Look no further, because Legacy IAS Academy proudly presents its highly anticipated new UPSC coaching batch commencing on May 13th, 2024. Our comprehensive 1-year foundation course is designed to equip you with everything you need to conquer the UPSC exams from prelims to main syllabus. Optional subject guidance, mentorship, study materials, interview guidance and rigorous test series, we have got you covered. Choose the mode of education that best suits your needs, whether it's online, offline or innovative hybrid model. With each batch limited to just 40 students, now is your chance to secure your spot in the exclusive program. But hurry, seats are filling up fast. Don't miss out on this golden opportunity to receive top-notch guidance from our experienced faculty and propel your UPSC journey towards success. Call us today at 9606900004 or 02 to secure your registration. Join Legacy IAS Academy and let's turn your dream into reality. Thank you.